Okay, so nobody loves making mistakes, right? Like I haven't come I haven't come across a person who's like, yes, I like making mistakes when I'm learning a language. I like to go and love making a fool out of myself when when I'm learning a new language. Let's say you're at a basic level, and let's say that you're a total perfectionist. Okay, so you have little tolerance for making mistakes. You just don't feel comfortable. I personally fully respect that. Okay, if that's the case, chances are that you will probably wait a little bit longer until you're at an intermediate level in that language before you start chatting around with native speakers. And I respect that. It's totally fine. But personally, I have a very low threshold. I have very low, like, I don't mind making a complete fool out of myself in social situations when it comes to just making mistakes and sounding funny in different languages. Now, something really important. I don't necessarily see that as a good thing or a bad thing. It's just the way it is, right? And you don't have to be that way. I can see advantages to this approach, um, because the fact that I think that the first one is essentially the exercise in itself, the attempt to speak in a different language has helped me learn different languages just because that attempt to express myself in these languages enhances the learning process in my mind. So maybe, like it forces you to try to recall the things that you've learned, and essentially that cements the knowledge that you already have. Of course, that can be done in different ways. You can just try to write in the language. Some other advantages are, well, it's nice to get feedback, instant feedback from the other person in regards to your accent, your pronunciation, the words that you're using, the expressions that you're using, how current they are. Because maybe, I've had cases in which I would say something and then the person goes like, "Hey, this that's like an old word. We don't say this anymore. We say it this way now." Then it's like, "Oh, okay, great. Like the audio program that I was using taught me wrong. Great." But so that's it's good to get feedback that way. Another benefit is essentially that if you basically really struggle expressing yourself in a certain way, or a specific idea or a concept, you want to say it and you can't, um, it's easy for me to later remember that, and then I really want to learn it. So I go to my tutor or my teacher, or I just learn how to say it online. Or you can also get, maybe if there's the occasion, you can try to get that person to teach you how to say whatever you wanted to say, especially if you both speak another language in common, right? Um, so that's another advantage. What else? You can also, uh, yeah, normally I notice that I have the tendency to really remember stuff better if people correct me on the spot. Okay, so I make a mistake. I say something wrong, a word or an expression, or I say something with my pronunciation's bad. Then the other person, the native speaker, goes and corrects me and says, "No, it's this way." Normally, my tendency will be to actually remember that later, better than if I just learned that, if I realized that mistake on my own while studying. Um, that could be just, perhaps maybe I'm a good auditory learner. That could be the case. Maybe that's not necessarily the case for everyone. So I see advantages in it. But that being said, there it's insane to think that you can't learn a language unless you go and you chat with other people. There's a billion other things you can do to master language aside from actually having chats with people. I just really suggest, like, try to, if you have like if you're a total perfectionist, or maybe if you're very shy and you don't want to chat with other people, or you're just uncomfortable. Maybe you're not shy, you're just uncomfortable to talk to people when you're still at a basic level, or even an intermediate level. I would just say try to lower your threshold a little bit. Try to care a little bit less about making mistakes, because especially since normally people really don't care. You know, if you're trying to speak in their language, they're normally gonna be nice to you, and they won't care. They'll find it cute, probably. They'll find it adorable, in many situations. Not always, but in many situations. So I would say just try to lower the threshold. Maybe, give it a try. Maybe have some small chats with people first. Baby steps. But if you're really uncomfortable, respect it. That's cool. But maybe perhaps try to compensate for the lack of that exercise, which is speaking to other people in different ways. So try to look for other exercises. Try to write a lot if you're already at that level. If you're not, if you're still at a basic level, of course, just try to get to the level where sorry, I can't speak English, where you can actually write and express your thoughts in writing. And that's it.